Courthouse Farm.
Yeah.
And we're here with Helen and
Hi.
Pauline.
Hi guys,
Hi.
good morning.
We've got flowers in our hair, haven't we? Picked by Gaz. The
Yes.
romantic.
Placed behind the ear to blend in with this stunning scenery we have today.
I think you should have one too, don't you?
Oh yeah, I think
I should have
Gaz,
flowers?
you
Yes,
should
definitely.
come on.
I have two
Yeah.
flowers.
Oh, creep.
I ain't wearing no flower behind my ear. No.
No, you are a bloke. Yeah. Very bloke.
No, thank you.
So here we are, guys,
Yeah.
live at Courthouse Farm, and it is absolutely stunning here. The flowers, the energy coming off the flowers, the sunshine. You can hear the birds singing. It is literally the most tranquil place I've been to, well, in a very long time. It is stunning, and we're here with Helen, who is privileged enough to live here and has the hard task of maintaining and looking after this place, but has worked tirelessly to create this amazing place. So guys, today we're going to be talking about state management and stress. We are literally surrounded by the uncertainty of what's going on in the world at the moment. It's been bombarded through our TVs, newspapers, radio.
This morning talking
Every avenue we turn at the moment seems to be more of this uncertainty and creating more fear and creating more anxiety in people. And really, anxiety is at epidemic proportions at the moment in all walks of life, in children, in teenagers, in adults and in older adults. And we really must understand how we can start to manage this anxiety, this state of stress, because it has such a huge impact on our overall health, on our experience of life, on our enjoyment of life, and also on helping to find solutions to the things that might actually be causing the anxiety and the stress at the moment. So
It's a good time to make changes.
it's a great time to make changes.
Yeah.
I agree. It's a great time to assess what's going on in your life and think, okay, where can I start to... I think a lot of people begin to feel anxious when they feel like they're losing control. They're losing a grip on what they control in life, and when the economy starts changing and where we can and can't go starts changing, and people's spending habits or businesses start changing, we start to sense that we're losing control, and it makes us feel very fearful. Whereas if we can just bring everything back to ourselves and start looking at our own life in a bit more closer to home, and look at, right, what can I control? What can I do to regain that sense of control? And just look at the really small stuff, like I can control my emotions, my mood, my mindset. I can control the way I look at this, the experience I have, the perceived experience. I can control how I react and respond to the different news and the media and the information that's being put out there.
So starting off small too, with
Absolutely.
just appreciating the small things in life.
Starting off small, I think, is just so key, and looking at, okay, this is a really big scenario. What's the worst that's going to happen? Assessing your anxiety. So, okay, how am I really feeling about this? What is it that's... Am I feeling nervous? Am I feeling anxious? Is it a physical feeling in my body? Is it something that's happening in my mind? And really thinking, okay, what's the worst that's going to happen? What's the worst case scenario? And when you really think about that, okay, for some people it might be like, well, I'm scared of dying. You know, what's the worst case scenario for you guys with this whole situation that's going on at the moment?
Losing my health,
Yes?
really, and not being able to function, not being able to, losing my faculties, just losing your health, being able to help your family.
Yes.
It's not really about the business or about anything that's material. It's
Yes.
It's really just about being able to live a healthy quality of life.
And I think that's key, because a lot of people feel that they have security in their house, their possessions, and yet actually when you strip all of that away, you know, when you go camping or you go to a little cabin or a B&B, and you feel so at peace and you feel so calm.
And you dread going home.
And you think, I've stripped everything away. There's nothing. We've made a lot of changes recently, and one of them has been a mass declutter. I mean, we're talking half the stuff in our house have gone, because we feel that this is an opportunity to change, and we've just felt there's a need to cleanse.
So going back to the camping scenario,
Yeah.
I think most people would find either camping or going on holiday and staying in
Just a little
someone's holiday
cabin, or
house,
yeah, something very minimal.
and you have them. Yeah, that's right. And you only have a bag,
Yeah.
so you have your essentials, but you have the best time.
Yeah.
And it's not because you have all these material things around you.
Yes.
It's just you have less clutter going on.
Less clutter, less
stress.
cluttered mind. And I really think that when we tend to feel secure by surrounding ourselves with familiar possessions
Yeah.
and more stuff.
Yeah.
And we pack this stuff around us, we're like, I feel secure and happy.
Yeah.
But actually that's a false sense of security.
That's right.
And that security actually comes from the confidence that I know who I am, I'm taking care of myself, I have the ability to get through this. You said you didn't fear losing your business. And I should imagine that's because you started the business, you have the key, you have the knowledge, you have the information, you could always do it again.
Yeah,
Whereas if you lost your health, that's irreplaceable.
that's right.
Helen, what's your thoughts on this? Because you've put so much work into what you've created here.
Yeah.
And it must feel almost like a double-edged sword in that it's beautiful and it's such a gorgeous surrounding, but you must feel the weight of responsibility in some ways too.
I do enormously, and I think health is so vital because, you know, without health and without energy, I'm talking not just, you know, fantastic health, because some of us have got health problems, but as long as you've got enough energy,
Yes.
you know, you can be enthusiastic, you can be creative, you can make the right contacts, you can inspire others, and but I think without, you know, with severe health difficulties, I think your energy goes completely. And
Yes.
then
That's right.
It's almost impossible to do anything because everything comes from energy.
I
Yeah.
totally
Yeah,
agree.
it
And
does.
and energy, and this is why stress is so detrimental to us, because it literally sucks the energy out of us. When you're in that persistent state of stress, your energy goes down, your creativity, your motivation, your sense of being able to think positively diminishes
State
completely.
management.
And that's why it's so key to really start bringing it back and looking after yourself. And on the top of everyone's to-do list, I believe, should be self-care. To-do list,
Well, I think
take
you're
care
right.
of me.
But it's the thing that goes out the window
It's
first.
the first thing we check. Yeah, we're like, no, I have to do this. And then right at the bottom, if there's time,
Yeah, if
look
there's-
after you. And that is, it's so detrimental to the big picture.
I think most of the time we're, you know, particularly when life's difficult, you're firing on all that sort of spare energy. You're using up all your resources.
But it's
actually,
not
which,
spare, is
no,
it?
it's not spare.
It's
no.
literally, it's like the tank is getting lower
Yeah.
and lower and lower, and we're not replenishing that tank.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you've driven yourself into the ground, and then you're at this place where you think, how do I get out of this? How can I get from here to where I know I need to get to? And that's the biggest step. When you're there, you're like, how do I do this?
I think it's so perfect today because I had a text this morning, actually not very long ago, from Pauline saying, we'll be over soon. We thought we could talk to you about stress today. And I thought, oh, great. This is the one morning I thought I'd have a slow morning because I'd had a terrible night's sleep, waking up all night with stress and anxiety and different things about all sorts of things. So it's perfect that we're here today. And so here I have in my right hand the most fantastic drink.
Fat
which is-
chocolate
which is,
turmeric.
yes, which is full of remedies, which I desperately need.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you know, I think the universe brings people
Yeah.
together when they need to be brought together.
And I could have said no, you see, but
Yeah,
you see,
you
what
were
you've always
brave.
got to do is say yes.
I agree.
Because life's saying, knocking on your door, and even though you might be feeling unsociable, you might not have your face on, I quickly put a bit of lipstick and whatever on, you know, you've got to go for it because you
Show
do.
courage.
people bring love
Yeah.
and energy
Yes.
and inspiration, and like you two have this morning.
These are the key ingredients: energy, love,
Yeah.
kindness, health, self-love, self-kindness. I was saying to Helen before we came on camera, we tend to self-sabotage
We do.
when we're not in a good place.
Yes.
We put our own needs, our own, our own self-care, we throw it out the window almost intentionally at times when we're not in a good place, because we're punishing ourselves for not being good enough, for not being smart enough, for not being
Not being
resilient
lovable.
enough, for not being lovable, for not being wonderful and inspirational. Those things are all just figments of your imagination, because everybody is enough. Everybody is already enough.
It's a story you tell yourself.
It is absolutely
Yeah.
the story. I mean, I think it's so key to recognize that we we want to start cultivating this mindset of being immune to other people's criticism, open to feedback, but just immune to criticism, and really protect yourself from that. Think, you know what, I'm me, I love being me, I will be open to your feedback, but just completely immune to all your criticism. And then having that mindset of we're all equal. No one is above you, no one is below you. We're all on this earth to experience the best possible life we can. And having that mindset of you are my equal. And if you can do this, I can do this. And if that person is, you know, living their best possible life, I want to too. I mean, I'm inspired by people all the time, from business worlds, from, you know, from the Dalai Lama to Tony Robbins to all these wonderful people who spread love and kindness and inspiration.
Right down to, you know, people that come into the store who have made massive changes.
People with the most modest lives who just bring great joy.
Absolutely.
And you know that they're actually, you know, they're spreading such love and
Totally.
and getting no sort of reward for it.
But their reward is the feeling they have in themselves, because the reward really comes from knowing who you are and knowing that this, you know, the big secret that these people who have this boundless happiness is they know they're already enough. They don't need anything else. They're not tied with their security to X, Y, and Z.
The new car is going to make me feel X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, but it's all there now, you see, except we don't see it and we don't hear it, do we? You know, if you actually are open one day and you walk down the road, you know, you'll just see inspiration everywhere.
Yes, and kindness everywhere.
And kindness everywhere.
You know, people, if you give and exude love and kindness, it is all around you. And even if it's not, see it, because it is still there. Even, you know, in flowers and in birds and in blue skies, or even on rainy days. We have to create a formula in our minds that allows us to be happy. Because this is Tony Robbins' work that I'm reciting here. I've done an awful lot of his work in the past, and he's a genius at really understanding human behavior. And if we create such a complex formula in enabling us to be happy, we will never be happy. Now, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say we were looking for a new partner. You know, we have in our mind this vision of who our new lover's going to be, and we've created this list. So we want handsome and smart and has his own career and is a sportsman and is an alpha male but sensitive at the same time, and you have created this really long list. You're making it incredibly hard for yourself to ever meet the person of your dreams. If your list was, this man exudes love, or this man exudes kindness, how much easier is it to find the right partner when you have that one list? Now, we do the same for ourselves subconsciously when it comes to happiness. I will be happy when my career is looking like this, I physically look like this, I am this person, I am this person, I have, you know, 3 very happy, healthy children, I have 2 dogs that sit when I tell them to, my house looks like Marie Kondo visits every day. All of these things are so concise that unless they're all ticked, I'm never going to be happy. And believe you me, we have this subconscious list, whether we're aware of it or not, it's there. If we create a list that revolves around, I'm alive, what would your list be, Gaz?
Being great.
Isn't that amazing? Like, you know, how this thing works. How does it work?
It is amazing. And you've got all your bits as well.
All my bits, they all work.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. That wasn't big.
But, you know, I mean, that's before going on to anything else. You know, I mean, anything else, because you do hear a lot of people pre-framing their life every day. There's pre-framing going on. If only I had this, or when I get that.
When I.
And
I will be happy when.
I will be happy.
If that is in your head, I'll be happy when. No money, no security, no job will ever create happiness unless you feel it inside. You can strip everything back. I was reading an interview to the kids the other day about the guy who sold Minecraft. The kids love Minecraft. So this guy sold Minecraft for multiple millions to, I think it was to Microsoft. Anyway, he sold it. And he was interviewed after, and they were like, you must be so happy. And he said, I've never been less happy.
Well, he'd lost his purpose.
He'd lost his purpose. He'd lost his friends because
Yeah.
no one could relate to him anymore. He loved getting up and working and being involved with his team, and then he sold it for this money, and he was miserable.
Yeah.
And he said, "I'm a young man. I'm in my 30s, and now I just don't know what to do. I've lost any drive. When you have so much that you know you never need to work again, you lose your drive, and I just don't know what to do with my life anymore." And he was so unhappy.
It's like Jim Carrey.
It's
There was that interview we saw
Oh,
with
yeah.
Jim Carrey, and he spoke about
Jim Carrey, the actor. Jim
Yeah.
Carrey.
yeah, and in this interview he said, if only you could be famous for one day
And rich. Rich
you
and famous for one day.
you would know what it's like, and you wouldn't want it.
You'd never wish for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, lots of people say that they want the sort of possibility, but they don't want the loss of
Anonymity.
Anonymity. It
Yeah.
must be dreadful, mustn't it?
yeah.
Although, of course, some strange characters seem to love it, but there aren't many of those.
No.
I think mostly, I suppose mostly we just have to choose to, for kindness to be, if we haven't got any other purpose, then be kind.
But
You know.
first and foremost, be kind to yourself.
Yes, yeah.
It has to start. I'm going to bring this back again because
Yeah.
yes, we can be kind to loads of other people, but unless you fill your own bucket up first, it's not going to overflow to others.
I think you're absolutely right, actually, because most of the time we're thinking about always looking after another, aren't
Yeah.
we? Obviously men and women, but yeah, there's always another. So,
And where does being kind to yourself start? For you, Helen, be honest. Where do you think being kind and being loving towards yourself starts?
Well, I think it has to start with actually, telling yourself that you're okay, that you're okay just as you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't need approval from someone else.
Yes.
You don't need love from a particular person. Isn't it
Yeah.
funny how we always hang all our need for love on a character, wife, husband, lover,
Yeah.
friend? That's the thing that obviously finishes off first, really, isn't it? But, and also that I suppose taking the time to delight in things we love as well. I think one of the few things I can always rely upon for picking me up is walking around the garden. And I
Yeah.
very rarely pick a flower, and I never put a flower behind my ear. But I think that's a really good thing to do because
Yeah.
it feels so silly and frivolous. But what I really sometimes do is I go and smell the roses. And I know it's a classic
Oh, I
phrase.
love that.
Take time to
Smell the
but-
roses.
But when you do, you cannot be miserable.
Yeah.
I was out there crying the other week, as we do sometimes.
Yeah.
And it was impossible to try and smell a rose. That's probably a scientific, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's lovely. And then I laughed. I thought, this is so stupid.
I love
Yes,
that.
Yes.
I think what you said initially is about telling yourself that you're worthy of love, recognizing that we're already enough. I think we're so keen to look for love externally and approval and recognition and significance and love externally, that when we stop and recognize that, my gosh, I have this brilliant mind and this amazing brain and the competence. Helen, your career reads like something out of a movie script. You've been a BBC presenter. You have this amazing history of what you've achieved, and yet.
But it never feels like it.
But
does
that's
it?
the point.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
can I ask you? Do you
Yes.
ever embody that? Do you ever think to yourself, "How did I feel when I ... Think of a time in your life when you felt really powerful and successful.
Well, I can think of a time when I felt extraordinarily happy and creative in what I was doing.
Think of a time when you felt proud and really like I'm kicking.
Yeah, I can think of a time.
Okay,
Yeah.
think of that. Really think of it in your mind right now.
Yeah.
Find that moment and how you felt at that time. How you stood, how you felt in your body. Did you feel unstoppable?
I felt unstoppable.
Did you feel unstoppable?
I felt unstoppable.
And are you still that same person?
I'm still the same person. Yeah.
So
yeah.
you can channel that at any time, but you have to reference. We're so good at referencing times. When we fail, when we feel like someone said something, and we'll take that one snippet out of 95% of what's been said, that 5%, and we let that cut us inside. There's tiny little cuts, cut. But what about the 95% of times we can reference that make us feel unstoppable and powerful and determined and like we've got this. Whatever happens with this uncertainty that's unfolding, we've got this. I am still capable, competent, unstoppable. I have this resourcefulness inside me. I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. And how many times do you tell yourself that?
Regularly.
Yeah.
I have to, because at the moment there is so much uncertainty. We have a high street store, we have, this real uncertainty going on with, we're a food business, so we have to.
We pre-frame every
We
day.
do.
Yeah.
We have to,
We
because
really do.
we have to
When you say
reassure
pre-frame,
ourselves.
Explain. You pre-frame your thought process.
Yeah.
You pre-frame you
Pre-frame.
talk to yourself.
Pre-frame everything.
So run me through that. That's interesting.
So, for example,
You'll wake up in the morning and
it's such a habit that it just comes out. It's
Right.
just there all the time.
Right.
So, for example, it might be, today is, now there's new
Well,
restrictions in place.
I'll give you a good example. It's
Because you hear the radio and it says something else. And
so
yeah.
why? So, for example, oh, I've just heard something. Why does this happen to me? Or why is this happening? Why? So straight away, your mind is already on a downward spiral.
Yeah.
So you're thinking in negative terms, and it doesn't matter
Disempowering.
who said it to you or what's been said. Oh, why? And you've already lost
And you feel
your
the slump,
yeah.
don't you? Yeah, yeah.
As opposed to saying, how can I make this better then? How can I do differently? How can I?
How can we find the good in this?
Yeah.
How can we help others to get through this? So for you, where you're in a situation of your mindset is, why is this happening? Why can't I get out of it? Why am I feeling this way? Those are very disempowering questions.
Yes.
You are disempowering yourself by asking those questions versus, I have been through tougher times than this before. I know myself. Nobody's going to stop me.
No one knows me better
Empowering,
than me.
yeah. Come on, world, challenge me some more.
What else have you got?
Yeah,
Is that it?
all you've got?
Go on, throw it at me. Yeah.
And find a more empowering question like,
Yeah.
okay, this is giving me the opportunity to challenge myself, to find something different, to find a better way, to explore my creativity. And as Gaz was saying, that pre-framing, the way you see a situation is the way you will react to it. If you see a situation as a nightmare, as awful as happening to you, not for you, then
It will be a nightmare.
it will be.
Yeah.
Because it's
But it's usually
pre-framed.
exaggeration, isn't it? You think, what nightmare, don't you, when you hear people say it? Yeah.
You manifest whatever
Yeah.
you think. Whatever you think, you manifest it, and chances are it's going to happen. Oh my God, that's going to be a nightmare. Oh my God, it's going to, it's going to hurt. Or oh my God, it's going to be great. So it can be either or. You
So
are.
in the morning, have you talked about this before? What do you actually do in the morning? You wake your little eyes, you wake up, thoughts come in, and they're sometimes like a washing line, aren't they?
Yeah.
And you choose certain thoughts almost because they're all running in there. I mean,
Yeah.
the negative and the good ones and the possible ones and whatever else. So do you actually, what do? Do you have a
So
story you tell yourself, or do
Yeah.
you have a sort of mantra, or
I
do
don't-
you have a little song you sing?
Not really. I
or-
just see everything as being a challenge.
Yeah.
Everything. The kids.
Yeah.
Getting
challenge.
up. I mean, everything. Every single
yeah.
thing that happens around me, I see it as
Yeah,
being a
yeah,
challenge. And what lays on the other side of a challenge, Pauline?
It's the reward.
It's the reward.
Yeah.
So we have to
And
be
do you say
accepting.
this? Do you say this to each other?
We
Oh,
talk
God,
about
yeah.
this all the
The
time.
real-
Absolutely.
yeah, because actually
Yeah.
sometimes it's quite helpful to hear, to think how, Pauline and Gaz do this. They say something to each other, or they remind each other to stay positive. Or,
Yeah.
We don't even say that.
No.
Listen, stay
You've been doing it
positive.
for
No,
so
no, no,
long.
no. But
We
we
never
pull
use
each other
that.
up. If I have a little, I don't know, say something, Gaz might say, "Are you in Karabakan?" I read a book relatively recently about a jail in Bali
you
where
suffering?
You love jails and everything.
I love
don't you?
reading
So-
books
yeah.
about. No, here's
Yeah.
why, Helen.
It's
I love
overcoming adversity.
No,
Yes.
it's not just that, but it's also there's true suffering.
Yeah.
There's someone who's managed their mind. So I love Nelson Mandela's
Oh,
book.
God, I know.
I love reading books
Yeah.
about people. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Excellent book.
Yeah.
In the concentration camps, but decided to find the good. He saw all his family murdered, witnessed his family murdered, but decided to document this journey he was going through to learn about man's behaviour and understand more about himself. Now that
Hold
is
on.
true.
And he asked
Yeah.
the
And
question
we
too.
think
management.
The
we've got
one
worries.
question he
Yes.
did ask, which was, how can I survive this?
How can I find the best?
How can I get through this?
How can I make this
Yeah.
experience a learning opportunity?
So was he asking himself?
Yes, he was.
His innermost
Yes.
being,
Yeah.
or God,
All the
or whatever
time.
you want to
Himself.
call
No,
it.
himself.
Himself.
All the time asking,
Yeah.
trusting in himself, getting to know himself. The most important relationship we should be working on every single day is with ourselves.
Yes.
And then the more you get to know yourself, the more you can express that person to the world. I mean, Helen, you're one of the most vibrant, inspirational people I know.
I have been at times.
Not at times, you are, but you pull that back.
Yeah.
Because you allow your mind, the monkey on your shoulder, to start telling you stories that aren't true. I can't do this. I'm not capable. I'm overwhelmed. No, you're not. You know you're not.
No, it's true.
We all
Because you
do
have that
though.
strength
And it's
inside
such
you.
a perfect day. You should ring and say, can we talk about stress and whatever else today? And I can't believe how perfect it is, because this has been the worst morning I've had in weeks. So, but you're right. It's just a story I'm telling myself. And I think what happens is you add to that when you feel tired.
Yes.
Of course,
That's right.
you haven't slept very well. So then you tell yourself, I haven't slept very well.
Yeah.
So therefore I don't feel good. But that's nonsense. I can say to myself, I haven't slept very well. So what? You know, I can have a sleep this afternoon,
Yeah.
or I can have a sleep in 10 minutes or whatever.
It takes
it's the
the
story,
discipline.
isn't it, that
It's
you
the
tell
story,
yourself.
and it's the discipline to say, okay, I'm breaking this. I'm stopping
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
What 3 small things
Yeah.
can I do? And it really comes down to. So we've been doing a lot recently on the discipline of planning, the discipline of routine, and some of us. And I've been like this in the past as well, shy away from too much structure and planning because I'm a free spirit and I like to have spontaneity. But actually it's been an excuse because I feel confined.
Yes.
The liberation and freedom you get from planning and structuring routine, from your housework to your business plans to your children. And the kids now have charts up where literally they have bed, have you made your bed? Tick. Have you folded your clothes? Tick. Have you folded your pajamas? Tick. Have you tidied your room? Tick. And yes, it took some time to set that all up, but the discipline involved in setting that up, training the kids to be in this manner, training ourselves to be disciplined to do the ticking and the scoring, has given us so much more freedom because there's now structure there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And having that structure and discipline with housework and your life and your day-to-day planning. Right, this morning, to the point of, okay, there's our 30-minute lunch break, there's our 30-minute exercise slot, there's our 15-minute planning for tomorrow, there's our, structuring it doesn't confine you, it frees your mind up to relax, knowing it's okay, I've got that.
Yeah, I understand that, because I fight structure too, although I have to have some, obviously, but it's very true that I always feel better when the bed's made.
Yes.
I always think, right, okay, got that one together.
Yeah, it's
and it
small
looks
things.
okay. And people are always calling round here, so it's, you always want them to come across a made bed rather than whatever. But you're right, yeah.
It's the small things that build up. They're like a muscle.
Yeah.
Thoughts are like a muscle that need exercising, and those small daily things like making your bed, like getting outdoors every day. And I mean, I have to say, I exercise, I do this structured exercise every day called suspension training. Do I ever feel like going? No. I always think there's
Tony
more.
Robbins says that, doesn't he?
Every day I think there's something else I need to do. But I've absolutely committed to putting my physical needs first. And therefore I've put it in the diary for 10 weeks and it won't move. I will not cancel it.
Yeah.
And every time I do it, I feel better.
Yeah, of course you do.
So we even structure in supplements. We have pots, we put them in, and have we taken our supplements? Have we had our fat drink? Have we drank our water? Have we done this? Have we exercised? Have we had, inspirational conversation today? What if I'm not around, if I'm on my own and I need inspirational I do it with myself. Seriously, I do.
Yeah.
And
At
you
least
ask
it's
us,
free.
I talk
Yes.
to myself. Right, come on, you've got this. You've been here before. You've done this before.
Yeah.
If you haven't, figure it out.
It's a longer one.
Thank you. It's a longer one. I've been having trouble with that behind my ear.
So you put that in
Yeah,
there.
that's better, isn't it? That's
Thread
much
it.
better. Look.
Thread
Ooh.
it right in.
And-
Push it back a little.
And I can see it, so that it's sort of ridiculous, isn't it?
Oh no, that looks
Oh,
lovely actually.
Love it.
You look like a Hawaiian goddess.
Here you are, you can have that one now.
Almost like
Put
a
it in
lion.
your buttonhole, look. That's really nice, isn't it? I
Oh,
love the
yeah.
colour on that blue, it's beautiful.
It is.
But yeah, you are right. But I think, not everything has to be structured, surely. I mean, it's lovely to have some freedom and some
But
free
what
time.
is freedom, Helen? Tell me what freedom is. Freedom is
I suppose
having
freedom
3
is a
hours
state of mind, isn't
in the
it? Yeah.
evening to say, I'm relaxing now. Is relaxing turning to a TV program that's actually distracting you? Or is relaxing knowing that everything is taken care of? Your mind is free to be calm because you've scheduled in thoughts for the next week, for the next month, for the next 6 months. I fought this because I find it overwhelming to plan things when I feel there's so much firefighting to do.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You don't want to be
No,
firefighting.
I'm like,
No.
I have to get all of this other stuff done. It's more important. And then I realised I don't have the luxury to not plan.
Yeah.
I don't. There's too much importance placed on what we need to achieve to not plan. And that plan might be as simple as creating an objective. I want to create more harmony in the house. And that might break down to ensuring the rooms are decluttered, and then tasks underneath that relate to that particular. So it's a hierarchy, and we remove the tasks, tick, 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 and before you know it, boom, you've achieved harmony in your environment.
I definitely think decluttering and all those things.
Oh,
is
it's so
vital.
powerful.
I've been through a whole period of that for the last few weeks.
It's so powerful.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Yeah, I need to do a bit more, but nearly there.
Well, we've been quite
Yeah.
brutal, haven't we?
Brutal.
Really, just picking. I watched Marie Kondo, not all of them.
it's amazing,
I watched
isn't it?
2, and then I thought, okay, I get the gist of this now.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
ready to Marie Kondo the house, and I mean, just literally going, why does one house need like 15 towels and 14 sets of bedding? We don't. So stripped it all back, gone. And then
Keep the lovely ones, the fluffy ones.
Just keep the ones that make you
the ones that
happy.
bring you joy. That's right. The lovely
Totally.
colour and the soft ones.
and just
Get the
really
others out.
embrace and do
Yeah.
the same with your cupboards,
Clothes
your
too.
food, your
Yeah.
what the things that bring you joy in your life, even people.
Yeah.
If there are people in your life who are constantly making you feel like they're pulling you down, or they're not making you feel good,
Just
or
empowering.
then just think, you know what, I have other people I like mixing with who lift me up, who make me feel good about myself. There's power in being very selective about what you have in your life and how you filter what comes into your mind and what comes into your life. And as I said earlier, reflecting that love inwards before you start reflecting it all outwards. You need to fill up your own cup.
Yeah, I think
Stripping it back.
It makes me think I'd like to put all the work on hold for a week and just do all the little things I'd like. The little things that you don't normally do. you know. I don't know, the girly things that we don't get
Yes.
round to usually, that everyone should do if they can. And the self-loving bits, even polishing the inside of the car, which will bring me joy, rather than looking at a little whatever. It would be great.
Small things.
It
that
is
make
the
you happy.
small
Yeah.
things. I was saying this to Sam, one of the girls who works in our team, and saying how I've been using this different soap, which has all these gorgeous essential oils in it. And even now, when I'm in the shower, the act of using that soap with a little cotton scrubbing bag, I find it a mindful, self-loving experience. Whereas before, you're like in the shower thinking, what do I need to do today? I don't need to do that anymore. No, seriously, who else thinks about planning in the shower? Now my day's planned out, I can just think about, oh, the soap smells so beautiful. And oh gosh, being aware of my arms and being thankful to my legs as I'm washing, and making showering, I know I'm going into dodgy grounds here, but making showering a mindful experience. And an experience, if you don't have time for self-love and sitting down and meditating every day, make time in the things that you're already doing. On the school run, when you're in the shower, before you go to bed at night, find those precious times where you can. It's so funny you talk about cleaning in the inside of the car, because we were queuing up yesterday to do the school run.
She did that yesterday.
I brought baby wipes with me so that I could clean the inside of the car, because I thought I know we're going to be waiting half an hour, because that's how long it takes now to pick the kids up. So I thought, I'm bringing baby wipes, and as we're in the car chatting about things, I'm going to clean the inside of the car.
Lovely.
And as we left,
Collect up all those parking tickets, get rid of them,
Yeah,
get
all
the
the-
change in one bit. Yeah, it's true.
and as we left, Gaz was like, nice job, and I was like, tick, inside the car cleaned up.
God, you two are going into overdrive, aren't you? I think it's wonderful.
It's
We're just starting.
you gain momentum, Helen. You
Well, I'm
find
joining the
those
club.
small steps. You find the more you start to do, you start to be like, wow.
They say ask a busy person, don't they? If you've got it right.
I think it's about decluttering your mind, and for us, it's been powerful. Decluttering the mind has been. We're experiencing it through decluttering our environment, focusing more on the things that we haven't been so great at before, which is planning, and really recognizing that if you don't have time to plan, you must make time to plan.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
Well, I agree, because I think you have to know what you want
Yeah.
and where you'd like
What's
to
your
go.
objective?
Yeah, And I think that's something Tony Robbins talks about, and you've talked about here, I'm sure, before.
Huge.
It's really vital. Otherwise, I mean, most of the time you spend, spinning plates, don't you?
Yeah.
And you think, I used to know what I wanted, and I seem to have lost it, or things just get too busy, or
Yeah.
Well, as Ryan
Yeah.
said, if you're caught up in the vortex,
You can't see the woods
you
for
can't
the
you
trees.
can't see anything. But if you're in the middle,
Yeah.
you get a clear view of what's going on around you.
Yeah, it's true.
The other thing Tony Robbins talks about, Helen, is you spend your whole life climbing this ladder, and then you get to the top of the ladder and you realise you've had your ladder up against the wrong wall. You've been working your whole life to achieve success at something, and it feels so hollow because it doesn't mean anything. You're like, what have I done all this for?
Yeah.
As opposed to, where's the richness in the journey?
Yeah.
It's from your character.
Yeah.
It's from going through times like this that
Yeah.
you learn who you are, that you get to embrace your inner, determined, unstoppable. This builds our character. We don't go through life without our challenges and come out the other side as this amazing person going, look who I became along the way.
It's true. It's the joy, isn't it? And lately I've been saying there's not enough joy, and I just have to choose joy.
Yeah.
Quite frankly,
Create joy.
because instead of being busy, instead of being stressed, or or accepting the stress as necessary, I need to sort of think, where is the joy in every day, rather than I will be joyful when.
Yeah,
People,
that's
I'll be
right.
joyful when I get a big house. People say.
Yeah.
I'll be joyful when I get the new car.
New car.
I'll be joyful when I have a baby, or
Yeah.
I'll be joyful, whatever the story
Yeah.
is. There's always something, isn't there?
There is always
The other
something.
one, I'll be joyful when I lose a stone. So often for women and men. But
Totally.
whereas Byron Katie, who was a great teacher I experienced, who you've heard about, she would say, well, you appear like this now, and you're absolutely perfect now.
Yeah. You're already
Now.
enough.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's something key that we have to keep saying to ourselves is,
Yeah.
I'm already enough.
Yeah.
I love myself enough to accept myself unconditionally. Unconditional love is the love we give to others, our kids, our pets,
Yes.
our grandchildren, our loved ones. We don't say to ourselves, I love myself unconditionally. I've learned to do that, incidentally. I learned a long time ago, because I didn't love myself. I was like, okay, I love myself or like myself when. Now it's, I love myself unconditionally, because when you start to understand and recognize how incredible your body is, you have so much respect for it. You're like, wow, you know what, this body I have is amazing, and you only want that health back when you lose it.
It's true.
That's the really tragic.
Don't forget
Yeah.
the brain,
The brain is just a mind to it. I mean, the brain is.
And why do you say that?
because you have the brain in the vessel. The vessel carries the brain.
Yeah, but is the brain? Oh, this is a big issue, isn't it? Is the brain the driving force, or is the soul, or is the heart? People
I
say
think
different
without
things.
the brain, without the head, your body would be better off, because your body knows how to.
You mean
fuel itself,
there wouldn't be the
live.
confusion or the negative stories? The body would just function and know what to do.
I think the brain tells the wrong stories at times, and the body just follows and does what it's told.
The problem is our brains are not
the
designed to
perception,
seek
yeah.
happiness. Our brains are designed to
Yeah.
survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are caveman, essentially,
Yeah, exactly.
and we're not there to be happy. We have to choose happiness by finding the joy, by creating this. It's easy for me to be happy because I'm alive, and the world is as it, we choose happiness because we choose to. Our brain is designed to seek out danger. It's designed to find something that could be dangerous to us.
So therefore, we're designed to find the problem.
We are.
So we wake up thinking, what problem can I find
Yes.
today? Oh, there's one.
There's one. I'll
Oh,
take a hold
I'll
of
have
that
that one.
one.
Yeah.
And that makes you feel. But
Or
Helen,
10.
that
Yeah.
makes you feel connected
Yes.
to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Does that give you
fear.
certainty of
It does.
your identity?
It absolutely. It makes you feel okay. I have something else to worry about today. It's
Yeah.
fine. I know who I am.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's true. I think we are, a whole lot of our life is actually of this dropping. I'm having real trouble with my flower, aren't I? Yeah, I think it's
Can
the
you get it
fuzzy
behind
hair.
your ear?
I think it's the fuzzy hair.
Right
But,
in behind the ear.
But you're right, and I think so much of our conversation is about problems.
Yeah.
So much of it is about moaning, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not very often.
Again, that's connecting, though.
Yes, exactly.
It's
And-
how
and
we connect.
yeah,
That's
it
who we
is.
are.
Problem
That's what you
solving,
English
yeah,
will
whinging
think,
about
right?
the
Don't you
husband.
put
Yeah.
everyone under that you English.
You English. I grew up knowing the term whinging poms.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whinging poms. Yeah, it's very. whinging Poms and whinging Aussies.
Where are we going with this? Where's the positivity gone?
Well, it's the mindset though, and the mindset comes from obviously from your parents or from you inherit a lot of your mindset from your parents or the people that are around you. Whinging Poms, that's what I used to hear as a kid.
So we can choose
So you're
how
with one
we.
now?
Yeah, a whinging Pom.
Oh no, she's not a whinging Pom. Sorry, she's a non-whinging Pom.
I didn't realise you were a Pom.
Anyway,
Right.
I have to rethink that one.
I'm actually Welsh, just to point
Well,
that out.
Why
oh
did
my
that happen
God,
to me?
The Welsh.
Why does this happen to me?
Oh,
I don't know
dear.
how we're doing on time, guys. Anyone?
No
Gaz,
idea.
do you have a time frame on how we're doing?
You should have a phone on me. But I
Quarter to.
Quarter
Okay. Quarter to 11.
Quarter to,
11,
it's
my
time to-
goodness. Nearly time
Wrap
for
us
11
up.
seas.
So
We've
guys-
got some lovely, luscious things to eat afterwards.
Well,
You
no,
didn't, did
we
you?
just brought. Wait, I just brought you a big
I'm still
fat
drinking.
drink.
It's lovely.
That's breakfast and
It's
lunch.
really fantastic.
That is breakfast and lunch. So, guys, I think
Yeah.
really to keep it really simple, we need to be focused on building that relationship with ourselves, accepting that whoever you are right this moment in time,
It's enough.
it's enough. You are enough, but you already have those resources. That person inside you, you just need to choose. You need to choose to feel confidence. You need to embody confidence. People aren't just born confident. You're not just born, empowered and confident. It comes from
practice.
experience. It comes from referencing. Choose to reference the good stuff. Stop choosing to reference all the
So
bad
therefore,
times.
let's run through then how you can practically do it.
Okay.
Because, myself this morning, many other people who may be here
Yes.
listening or not, or thinking back to difficult situations that they're, misperceiving, you
Yes.
could say, or situations that they're thinking are more difficult than they really are.
Let's run through how you do it.
What are 3 things, for example, you can do? We can add maybe some more. But
Okay.
What could you do? So
the 3 things. First of all, you need to reference times. You need to have a really good bank of references that you can really access straight away. So for you,
Yeah.
Helen, I want you to think of a time when you felt really attractive and sexy and desired and really like alluring, and Gaz is going to take your drink and feel that in your body, how you felt at the time. Really go back to that moment. It could be one moment in time, it could be a period of your life where you just felt, yeah, I feel like an attractive being, I feel desirable, and how you felt about yourself at that time.
Yeah, unstoppable. It was great.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
keep that
great.
feeling in you. Now think of a time when you went through a really difficult time where you thought, I just don't know if I'm going to get through this, but you did.
Yeah.
And how you felt at the end of it. How did you feel? When you look back, how did you feel about, oh my God, I actually got through that?
Oh, yeah, I felt unstoppable again.
Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it? How you are actually unstoppable, even in a small way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think people think unstoppable. I've got to be changing the world, or I've got to be,
No, it's about-
leading a country. But it could just be unstoppable
In your own life.
Yeah.
Okay, think of a time when you just felt complete joy. You were laughing uncontrollably. It could have been something really silly. It could have been, the most ridiculous thing that you were laughing at, and just feeling pure pleasure and joy in your life. And really, again, bring those feelings into you and embody them. Feel those feelings, and like a future memory bank, start projecting those into your day. Start thinking, yep, that's how I'm going to start feeling today. Unstoppable and desirable, not necessarily for other people, but in yourself.
Yeah.
I feel good about
I
myself.
suppose you could do that by having little prompts that come up on the phone,
Yeah.
or you could do that by
Post-it
having
notes in
your
your bathroom.
storyboard or whatever, or
Or as soon as you start hearing that voice
Yeah.
in your mind going, why me? Hold on a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah.
I'm unstoppable. I've been through this before. I'm choosing. Whatever you feel, whatever emotion you feel, results from the focus you have at that time. Whatever you're feeling comes from your focus. So your focus and your physiology will create your emotions. The language you're using. So you need to change your focus and you need to change your physiology. Get up, get outside,
Do something
jump
physical.
around,
Yeah.
move around,
Yeah.
drink some water, have some good nutrition, take some supplements, get your fish oils in, change your physiology, change your focus.
Ask better questions.
And that's language.
Yeah.
Those 3 things. Again, this is all Tony Robbins' work.
much
Language,
better
physiology, and focus.
Yeah.
Because he says your brain is programmed to answer any question you ask,
Yeah.
whether it be good or bad, disempowering.
Or empowering.
Well, I mean, on the whole, I mean, I've spent decades of my life looking at all sort of positive research and reading spiritual teachers and doing lots of trainings, and still, you must know this one. Still, you're thinking, how long does it take to actually reprogram my brain? So I think at some point you've got to accept that, the human condition is it wants to revert back to
familiarity.
Familiarity, the flight and the flight response, the human condition. So therefore, I suppose you just got to laugh at yourself and just think, there we go again.
And also recognizing that just because you don't live it all the time, every single day, it's more about reminding yourself, hold on a minute. Oh yes, I'm embodying joy today. Right, let's get on with my day. And you don't have to be someone who wakes up in this Zen-like state. It's more about creating.
And you feel stupid, don't you? Say, I'm going to be the presence of love today. You think, no, can't say that as I'm walking down the street.
Yes,
but
you
it feels
can.
Great.
Of course you can.
You can.
Yes, I give love. Okay, I'm going to admit
here
something.
we go.
Yeah, go on,
Ready?
admit it.
I'm going to admit something really
You admit
embarrassing
something,
here.
You admit something, and I'll admit something.
I am not admitting
So
nothing.
we've run out of time.
I was putting flowers together yesterday in a little vase because they bring joy and love into the house, and one looked a little bit droopy. So I cut him off, and I was thinking, you need to go in the bin.
Why is it a he?
No, okay, she.
Droopy.
The flower. The flower looked really, and it was droopy, and I felt guilty putting this flower in the bin.
Yeah, I hate
and then I was like,
guilty,
oh my god, why am I feeling guilty? And I was like, because this flower didn't get to live out its best life. And then I thought, okay, how can I reword this? It's putting prettiness in the bin. So the bin gets to be pretty. I know, but I'm trying to reframe, right? So I'm trying to figure out how to not feel guilty about throwing a flower away that didn't get to be with the other bunch. I have a slightly oversensitive brain to these things, and I tend to overthink things. So,
But guilt is that first
oh my god,
thought.
guilt, I know.
I mean,
I
it
was like, that poor
swoops in
flower.
there the minute you do something, doesn't it? I mean,
And guilt is
the
a
moment.
very destructive emotion.
Oh, deeply.
And I try all the time to reframe guilt. And that guilt that we all experience as mothers and fathers and friends and
Humans.
business owners and inadequacy and all these other things. It's about reframing. And there's my embarrassing story about reframing a droopy flower. And that is just an example of how I try and reframe guilt whenever it pops its ugly head into my head. And people have guilt around food, which I think is incredibly destructive.
Well, I have guilt around red wine, which is my downfall, really. But it is destructive.
It's really
I suppose you might
destructive.
enjoy the glass and then choose to have less.
Absolutely. Just say, okay, why did I choose this? Because I was feeling tired or down, or okay, what can I do instead? I'm learning from this. It doesn't mean I'm not having red wine. It just means I'm learning from it. But get rid of the guilt. Anyway, this is a subject we could talk about for a very long time, but we will
enjoy your red wine.
Yeah. Thank you.
But enjoy self-love. And enjoy empowering yourself with all those feelings, Helen, and being that unstoppable, attractive fire of energy and positivity and creativity that you know you are, and that you want to give the world that version of yourself.
Yeah, and I think it gets more difficult. This is another story we tell ourselves as we get older, and as we get the normal, predictable health difficulties, like I have arthritis that I'm dealing with, and we're working on different things, but I think it's important to say actually that is just a perception that it gets more difficult when you need the hip replacement.
Yeah.
Well, you can just slow down and enjoy slowing down a bit, can't you? Until you get the hip replacement.
You're guilty of telling yourself it's age or it's related to something else. So you can do something about it.
Enjoy getting curious about learning about your body. Okay, my body is telling me something and I'm not listening. What is my body telling me? What do I stop blaming your body and saying, oh body, why must you? And say, okay body, you're telling me something, I need to start listening.
Is it the body or the brain?
It's the body giving your body whispers to you, I'm not happy, I'm through migraines, through anxiety, through tiredness. Then it slaps you in the face and it says, okay, now I'm really ill. And then we get upset with our body. It's not our body's fault. You can't blame your body on what we're giving it as food and lifestyle. So we need to start listening to our body, working with our body, making friends with our body, and working as a partnership.
Chop the head off.
Yeah.
body would be much better off.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it is an amazing self-sustaining, vehicle, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I am still amazed that it just does what I want it to most of the time.
Yeah.
It is incredible, isn't it?
So there's your
Yeah.
appreciation, living in an attitude of gratitude
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, we're very grateful to have had you guys with us today. Thank you for joining us. We hope there's been some really interesting things for you to take away and to start working on yourselves. And remember, guys, we're here on this earth, well, as far as we know, once.
Yeah.
Take it
That
for
might
all
not be
it's
true.
worth. Enjoy it. Love your life. Embrace it. And just enjoy the small things like that gorgeous breeze in the
Yeah,
air.
yeah. We never know how long, do we?
Helen, thank you very much for having
Pleasure.
us.
Thank you. It's been lovely
And-
to have you drop in.
And thank you for showing us Courthouse Farm.
Stunning location.
Bye,
And
everyone.
of course, if anyone wants any flowers, we've got lots.
Did you hear that? More
Lots
flowers?
of flowers at Courthouse Farm. Until the frosts come, anyway.
Oh.
Okay.